Shout out Sniper T on the beat.
Tamara to the break of dawn is on the rise, with life on the forefront of the mind. So line for line, you can ride this brain train and you can change your station without even touching the dial. So relax, stay a little bit, but listen for a while. And whether you're bumping this in the whip or in a business fit, it's a meeting you won't want to miss. A meeting for a meal to feed the soul with words for the mind. So sit back, enjoy the ride. Time to take off, it's time to fly. Cause Tamara till the break of dawn is on the rise.
I'm kind of liking this, and I'm not promising that every Monday it's going to be this, but last Monday I did this type of episode and it made it when I wrote my blog, it was actually a little bit easier to formulate my thoughts. I usually write my blogs on Monday because it's supposed to be, whatever thoughts or whatever are that day or whatever. So we'll see. I don't know. I'm tired. It's probably because I didn't get as much sleep as I should have gotten last night because my days got kind of thrown off. Friday, I was in the ER with someone unexpectedly for several hours. So then that made it where I didn't get everything done that I needed to get done. So then I had to do stuff yesterday because Saturday is my I don't do any work on Saturday. That's the one day of the week that I kind of keep as a rest day or whatever. And I excuse me, and I had gotten away from having to do any like work on Sundays other than I feel like I've said I serve on the creative team at my church. So I mean, I'm going to church on Sunday anyway, and I, do what I have to do as far as serving or whatever. But I had kind of got away from doing any company work on Sunday because I didn't like starting my week with a late night. But I had to because content needs to come out every day because this is what I've decided I want to do with my company. So last night I was up late, and then y'all, why when I was trying to go to sleep, mind you, it's like after 3. Why were birds chirping? Like y'all don't go to sleep. Like if it would have been like 5 in the morning or 4, I guess ish. Really, 5 is when I feel like is more acceptable for y'all to be getting up and chirping. But like y'all ain't went to sleep or like what's really good. I was very annoyed. So and then it was crazy because and I don't even know why. Sometimes my mind just goes here, but I was just like I thought I was gonna die. That sounds so dramatic because there was literally nothing wrong with me. But then I just started going on this trail of like if I was to die right now, just how detrimental that would be to my youngest because she graduates Mother's Day, and I don't even know why my mind went there, but yeah, she graduates. She graduates Sunday, and it's just wild. The graduation party stuff is coming together, and it's wild because when I think about her high school years, which were really like the hardest years for her, for me as a parent, as I walked through it with her, because that's when her mental health just really spiraled. And the fact that she's even here and alive, because, like, and I mean, some of y'all, I've talked about this a little bit on here. Matter of fact, she's been on here and talked about it. But, like, there was a period where like my goal was just keeping her alive. Like sophomore and junior year for her were the absolute worst. And yeah, so it's just amazing that she graduated. I mean, yeah, she technically has been done with school since October, but actually getting to like celebrate and family coming in town and getting to see not one but two graduation ceremonies because towards the end of junior year she transferred to a independent studies school, so that's how she was able to graduate so early because you literally just do your work and it's your own pace. And so they figured that would be a good idea for her or whatever. And so we went ahead and made that transition. And so they'll have a graduation ceremony, but because she technically is like still a part of her high school that she went to, so the high school, the large ceremony at this arena here in town is on Mother's Day. So that's the one where like all her friends from high school, that she went whatever will be at. Then there is the school that she finished up at. So they're also having a graduation ceremony next Thursday. So we'll go to that. She doesn't really care about like a whole bunch of people coming to that. It'll probably just be me, her sister, and maybe her aunt and cousin, but she wants to go, of course, but whatever. But I say all that to say, I've just really been thinking like it is literally like she's the last to graduate, and it's not because she's the last to graduate that I feel like, wow, I did that. But it's really just the fact, especially, when you think about the fact that like my son has lived with his dad and Kayliana's graduation was so weird. So it's not even about raising kids, it's just about, wow, we didn't even think there was a time I wasn't even sure like if how long she'd be alive. That's just how wild stuff was. And so there's just this like, wow, I did it. Like not, I kept her alive, you know what I'm saying? And she's doing a lot better. Um even, it seemed like even just finishing school there was like such a shift and whatever. So I don't know. It's such a I mean, change is always weird for me, like the anxiety and it's so crazy because I never really had language for stuff that I've really dealt with my entire life, and now that there's more talk about like mental health and obviously the education that I have, but I didn't start school till basically my 30s. So it's just so interesting. There's just things that I I guess you'd say it's like high functioning this, that, and the other because it's like it's not crippling to the point where I can't do whatever. But the interesting thing is that when you're someone who can still do what you need to do regardless, it almost gets overlooked. Like people feel like if you're not falling apart, it's less intense, I guess, or whatever. But it's like we all have the capacity to deal with what we deal with. And I really hate when people, me and my oldest daughter were talking about this the other day, because I hate when people, like, let's say somebody stubs their toe and that is excruciating pain for them, and but then somebody else broke their foot and they make it seem like the person who stubbed their toes pain is less than just because they broke their foot. I can't stand when people do that because it's kind of like people can handle what they can handle, and how can you say how someone else is supposed to feel about what they're going through? Like it's just, I don't know. But yeah, so change, anticipating change and all events, all this stuff really like oftentimes, actually all the time, stresses me out. And so I will be glad when this weekend is over because it's a lot of pieces to consider. Mother's Day is kind of getting overshadowed because there's the graduation, and then it's also my oldest daughter's 20th birthday, and so I want to make sure that her birthday doesn't get overshadowed. And, it is what it is with that. Like, Mother's Day, it matters, but then again, it doesn't because it's something that's really, I'm only a mom because my kids, you know what I'm saying? But anyways, um, yeah, and then it's like, it's so crazy because like believing in yourself, you really have to believe in yourself when you're really trying to do anything, like even just as a content creator, you can't get caught up in response of other people. You can't get caught up in um wanting recognition from other people. Like of course we want people to listen, view, whatever, but it has to be that you're doing whatever because you enjoy doing it and not because you're seeking the validation of others. And like with this whole CEO journey that I've been on, it's really interesting because you really have to believe in yourself. You really have to overcome the mental struggle of wanting to promote your stuff or wanting to whatever. And you also have to sometimes shut down people when they want to say, like, speak whatever. They may have good intentions. I'm not necessarily saying it's coming from a malicious place, but like words do have power. So I've been in this season where I even like moves making, I don't really tell anybody anymore. I may tell my mom and my daughter because like some stuff affects them, you know what I'm saying? Because I live with my mom and then my oldest daughter lives with me still, but like I might not even tell the other two kids depending on what it is because I just realize not everybody, like when you're stepping out to do stuff, this is I guess my, if you want to say, encouragement to anybody who's out here like trying to start a new company or start a new creative project or start whatever. When you're trying to step out and do stuff, some people give advice or they speak things over you based on their experience, their limitations, their fears, their whatever, but that literally has nothing to do with you. I'm not saying that you just don't take advice from people, but I just think sometimes people really speak from a place of their experience and they feel like their experience is the end all be all cookie cutter way for everybody, and that's just not true. Because if you think about that, and or think about like companies that have been out here that have been really successful, and then maybe a company that fizzled out, or I didn't even realize, and I can't even remember what they said, the first brand that Beyonce, so you know she has Ivy Park or whatever it's called. And I guess she had a brand back in the day that didn't do well. So that just in and of itself, I think they said it was called House of Darion or something. The group chat was talking about it, and I was like, oh, I didn't even realize whatever that, you know, but I don't be paying attention to everything. But my whole point with that is like, you know, somebody could have, when she said, "Oh, I'm gonna start." Is it called Ivy Park? Y'all, I don't be remembering what anything is. Oh man, in the heat of the moment, I sometimes just whatever. I feel like it's called. It's not called. I don't know. Whatever. Y'all know what her clothing line right now currently is, or whatever. So somebody could have been like, you know, no, remember how that did? Don't do this. And she's her brand, I'm assuming, is doing really well because I see a lot of people excited when they can get it or mad when they can't get it as far as people on social media. So, you know, I'm assuming it's doing well, but sometimes thing is just about like it didn't work before because it wasn't the time to work before and you needed more development and growth and whatever, and then now is the time. And my whole point with this is I've gotten to where, moves I'm making while it's in the cooking stage of it, I guess. Not even people that I'm like, "Oh, can you pray for?" No, I don't even know if I want you praying over my stuff because you might not even have the real like the faith to believe the way I believe. And I don't know, I've that's something I've kind of really been on lately. Like once it's happened and once it's set in stone and we out here, okay, cool. Then I'll, you know, maybe make an announcement depending on what it is. Because also know in some realms, especially the company that I started, it's like it's a consulting agency, so I have to show credibility that I actually know what I'm doing, even though my company is literally built around what I was doing in my career for over a decade. But it's kind of like strangers don't know that, you know what I'm saying? And so I'm getting into like asking people for reviews more and stuff like that, just because it's all about building credibility, word of mouth, blah blah blah. But with that, it's like if I don't believe in myself, I can't expect anybody else to believe in me. And then what I've also learned is that even as a content creator, it's really interesting because most podcasters that I invite onto the platform. And man, shout out to the people who I don't even like, I come up with these ideas. I don't even know why or where they just random things sparks them. And I'm just in this season of life where I don't allow since it's my own platform. And that's kind of why I keep like podcasting, blogging, and I guess even TikTok videos, just creative projects, because then there's no pressure. If I have an idea and I can formulate it, like that makes me happy. But shout out to the podcasters that I reach out to when I come up with these random ideas and they just go along with it, even if a lot of times I'm like, this is going to be a surprise. Like the element of surprise, I love it. I love people's initial reactions and whatever because I just think it's funny sometimes. But shout out to the people that trust me. But I realize I've been really spoiled by the podcast community because pretty much anybody that I've ever invited onto my platform, even if we've never really talked all like that, but I tell them why I'm having them on or whatever, everyone has said yes. I can't think of one. Now, mind you, I don't ask everybody and their mama. I usually ask people that I have rapport with, just because the way that my show is set up about being about my life or whatever. But I've been really spoiled, and what made me realize that is because then sometimes I've reached out to non-podcasters to want to kind of highlight them for whatever various reasons. And it's very interesting that some have said yes, and then some maybe said yes but didn't circle back to schedule, or they said they'd schedule, they didn't. And I don't get offended by that because in all things I'm very much a person that's whatever is supposed to happen is supposed to happen, and whatever's not is not, or sometimes the timing or whatever. So I don't really trip off that, and I don't take offense to it. But what that made me realize is that if I wasn't the way that I was, this is why you have to believe in yourself, because sometimes if you get caught up in people not supporting what you're doing, which family and friends, they don't always catch the vision. That's what I love about the podcast community, because we're all in this together. We're all like kind of on similar journeys as far as we understand the grind, you know what I'm saying? And so, like, when it comes to Melon Intoxicate, most of my people who have purchased stuff, and okay, I'll say it like this: the people who purchase and then post a picture and tag the brand or send me the picture and understand the importance of like that side of things has been podcasters. Now, I've had friends that they told me they bought something I don't know if they wear it. I don't know what they do with it. You know what I mean? Because they don't send me a picture. I haven't been tagged any posts or whatever. But it's kind of like that's where that believing in yourself, regardless of people support you. Like if you have a dream and it's really what you want to do, you have to just do what you got to do to make it happen. Sometimes you have to try more than once. I remember when I wanted this promotion at my last job, and I actually applied for it. I think it was 4 times before I finally got it. And then the last time, up to applying for it, because I actually talked to somebody kind of like, okay, what can I do to better my chances to actually get it? And it's almost like I had to do kind of like some OJT, like start doing the thing that I wanted to get promoted for. So then when they interviewed me, it's kind of like, oh, I've been doing this to kind of show exact tasks that I've done related to the job instead of, oh, I did this and it was similar to this. It's like I did this. And that's what I had to do in order to get, and I got the promotion and all that good stuff. But my whole point is like in my mind I have this, like when I was in school and when I did track, I was a sprinter. And like marathon running has never been something I've ever done, but that's the way life is. It's a marathon. You really have to pace yourself. Sometimes you can sprint places. Sometimes you end up going on some detour because you need to get more training or you need to learn more lessons or you need to whatever, but if you keep the goal in mind, you know, and also believe in yourself that you can do it realistically. Like, I'm not out here trying to start a singing career because your girl ain't got vocals like that. Don't get me wrong, I still will sing because I enjoy singing, but it's not like I'm out here trying to, you know what I'm saying, be unrealistic. So, within what I know I can do or what I can train to do, it's kind of like believing in myself and my abilities and speaking that over myself in conversation with people has been huge lately. But then also keeping stuff to myself because some people really, they just, and we'll even go with the people who they really don't want to see you do more than what they can do. And that's sad because I have people that, I mean, social media allows you to see what people want you to see, really. But I mean, that comparison is really the thief of joy. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not going to be grateful for what you have and what you've accomplished if you're constantly comparing yourself to other people, and social media makes it really easy to get caught up in that. Social media makes it really easy to get jealous of. You see people, maybe you ask somebody to do some, like let's say I invited somebody onto the platform and it didn't work out, they didn't end up coming even if they said they would. But then if you see them promoting that they were on somebody else's show, you could easily like feel some type of way, you know what I'm saying? But that's where you have to just believe in yourself and be grateful for what is instead of being caught up in what isn't, because sometimes what you want is not what you actually need, you know what I'm saying? And then it's like it's very easy to get caught up in being jealous about the way that people support other people, just seeing it online. We're not gonna get into like friends and family, but I'm learning that some people only support people when it's popular to support them. Like when everybody else is supporting, then they wanna be viewed as somebody supporting. You know what I'm saying? And so I have really just been lately every day. So how I start my day is I'm still doing this quiet time. So 15 minutes of just sitting there. I honestly have not figured out how to shut my mind off. but in 15 minutes literally feels like forever. It is like it's hard for me to sit there for 15 minutes, but I do it. That's how I start my day. And I already, my quiet time, read my Bible, journal, whatever. But when I journal, I noticed my journal was, it just is what it is. It was filled with complaints, processing my life, and prayer requests, and whatever, and all that's fine and dandy. But like, what am I grateful for? And so I've decided, I've just started this in the last several days. That the first thing I'm gonna do, because I saw there's this barber that I follow, found him on TikTok. Randomly he was in my For You page, and then I started to follow him on IG as well. Vic Blends or something like that. And so what I see him do on social media is go give somebody a free haircut, have a conversation. He's usually trying to inspire them or motivate them or whatever. And in the last video that I saw of his in the last few days, he was telling this kid who said he wanted to, I think, be in the NFL or the NBA. He was like, every night when you go to sleep, write down what you're grateful for. Write down one thing you're grateful for. And I've done this thing, and I've posted it on social media where every week I would write down something I'm grateful for and put it in this box and then read it later. But then when we moved, my box, like, I'll read 2020's gratitude. Wait, what year is this? 2022. So just kidding. I'll read 2021's gratitude whenever we move because I packed it and I don't know where it is and haven't felt like going to dig through the storage unit to get it. So then that kind of threw me off as far as how I do it. And so then what I decided after I saw that video was like, you know what? In hard seasons, because it's hard to have an attitude of gratitude when life is hard. Like, my life is very much, it's not easy to be able to do what I do. Oh man, y'all don't even understand. Shout out to my mom. Like, I am extremely grateful to her because I mean, I'm staying in her house rent free while I'm building a company, and she's allowing me the space to do that. Now, there's things, of course, I have to do in the house, you know what I'm saying? But I'm not a dirty person or whatever. So it's like, it's not difficult to do my own dishes or clean the bathroom that we use or whatever. When it's warmer, I'm going to have to mow her lawn for however long I'm here. And I like mowing the lawn, so I actually don't mind that. She's, getting older and doesn't feel like doing it. So, so there's, of course, stuff that I have to do, but I don't have to pay any money. And I have my own room and I have my own space for my office setup that is not in anybody's way. And you know what I'm saying? And it's where I do all my recording and everything. And so, man, shout out to her, but at the same time there are still battles and there are still whatever, like, it's not easy. A lot of it is overcoming frustrations, like having to almost feel like I'm chasing down money that's owed to me from clients is annoying. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I did the service and this is a service contract that you sign and agreed upon, and I send this whatever, why do I have to remind you? Why do I have to whatever? Because when you reach out to me and you say, hey, can you do this? Can you send me this? Can you whatever? I'm on it. But it's not going to make me change the way I provide excellent customer service, because the thing about it, when you're in the service industry, is that clients will, if I don't have clients, then I don't have a company. That's number 1. Number 2, one, like, man, negative reviews and all that can really just taint all the good work that you've done, whatever. So I really have to, like, humble myself, and like, when I'm following up about money that's owed, even the way that I do it, make sure it's, coming all across as, yes, I need my money, but like, not rude, or not even allowing my frustration to come through, even if it's been whatever, because I mean, that's just unprofessional in my opinion, to, like, yeah, you owe me money, but that doesn't mean I come at you crazy because you owe me money, because how is that going to help my business grow when then you tell everybody how unprofessional I was or whatever. And that's just not me, just because I mean the career that I've had, and having been in management and stuff like that, and I'm usually a pretty, like, I usually try to be respectful to people in general. And yes, we can have disagreements. So this doesn't mean I'm not going to address stuff, but it's just, you don't have to be disrespectful to someone to address it. But it's frustrating. Like, that's one of the biggest frustrations, is the financial side of things. But nevertheless, there's always something to be grateful for if you actually are looking for it. And so I've really shifted to where the first thing I write in my journal each day is, what am I grateful for? And also making sure that I don't skip days, because sometimes I will skip a day every now and then, and I'm really just trying to be more intentional about, like, this is for me. This is for me to get my heart and mind and soul kind of at a place of peace or in order or whatever before I start the rest of my day. So it's kind of like I got to be good before I pour out to anybody else or do whatever. So, yeah, man, it's been, this is just kind of where I'm at. I feel like I may do this every Monday, simply because, like I said, it makes it easy for me to write my blogs, because I've kind of processed a lot of stuff out loud. Because again, this is literally me just processing. This is almost like a therapy session, because this is when I was in therapy. This is kind of how it was, where I would just talk, because I have a lot of knowledge about a lot of different stuff because of my education. And yeah, so this is kind of what this is. Thursday episodes will always be, regular episodes, guest stuff, whatever. But I kind of, and it doesn't mean I'm only doing it on Mondays, because you see I've been doing 2 3 a week depending on my week. But 2 3 of these episodes, I'm saying, I think I did 3 once. Who knows? I might be lying. Maybe just 2. But I kind of like the idea of starting my Monday like this, since I can, because I can structure my days the way that I want and whatever. So yeah, thanks for listening, and I will talk to y'all soon.
Ladies and gents, this concludes transmission. Tune in next time for a whole new edition, another adventure and mission to share, be heard, and clarify the vision of this whole new world full